Hi, I'm Lauren Middleton with Cutting Horse Central, and we're here with two more of our world champions, Mr. Casey Crouch and Mr. Tyler DeLange, who both won on the same horse, actually, Lewis the Cat, the 25 novice and the 25 novice non-pro. You guys, what made you decide to do this year? It's a big accomplishment, and congratulations ahead of time before we even finish. But what made you decide to do this?
So in October of last year, I think, Casey and Chelsea had to do a clinic over in Ontario, Canada, and we had some friends together that they recommended to leave their two horses at our house, and I only knew Casey for about maybe 30 minutes, and he dropped Zany, Chaser's youth horse off, and Casey's 5 novice horse, Smarty. He dropped them off at the house, and then they just headed out and went to Canada, and then they came back. We went to a show in Ohio. We ate dinner together, just kind of hit it off. Our families really connected with each other, and our first goal was to send Lewis down here for Jackson, and Casey was going to show him in the 25 and the 5, and try to get him in the finals in those two classes, and he was second in the 5 novice, actually, and I ended up winning the 35 on him. So, and then we tried to get him in the top 15, and then as the year progressed, we're like, well, how about we try to win it? And at this point, our first thought was, have Casey try to win it, and because I was still kind of moving up a little bit, but not too fast. Casey was never out of first all year in the 25 novice, and the first couple months of the year, I was struggling a little bit, but I think I had to work pretty hard to kind of get where I was at. And then towards the end of the year, the last 3 months, we just kind of had fun with it, and we were both leading, and it was just a good time, just a good year for us.
Yeah, and you marked a 2:27 today, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I guess I want to take the least credit for it. I need to thank my horse first, Lewis the Cat. He was top notch today. I have no complaints for him, and I'd like to thank all my help, Casey Crouch, my grandfather Rick Dubé. It was really special to have him out there with me. That meant a lot to me, and Mr. Ben Johnson, he's been helping me all year, and Galen Wells, and those guys have just been support for me all year. And then my family has been a huge backing for me, and the Crouches have been like my second family. I mean, they've done so much for me. I can't thank them enough. There's no words or anything I can say for them. But yeah.
Yeah, pretty top-notch group for sure.
It is. It was awesome. It's hard to explain the feelings that I really have, but I'm glad I got to show it today on my horse, and he was like my best friend out there, and I kind of got to be one with him out there, and it was really cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's what makes all this so special, really. Is the camaraderie and the relationship you build with your horse too. Yeah.
Throughout the whole year, we've kind of grown together all year, and Casey's helped me become a much better showman than where I was at the start of the year, and he's brought Lewis to another level that I couldn't have imagined at the start of the year to where they are now. So Casey's just done a great job with him, and also helped me along the way.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of bracken on you over here.
Still.
Yeah. What do you? So who is this Casey Crouch?
Well, I've had the opportunity to be with Tyler all year, and my family, and it's I don't know, it's just a real unique deal. I mean, we do this. I mean, this is what we do for a living, obviously. I mean, everybody knows that, but it turns into more, and I mean, you turn into a family, and the horses bring you together. Lewis is he's an exceptional horse. I don't have the words for it. He gives you everything he's got every time. This year he's been to the herd I think 300 times. I've got the numbers exact, but it's between 290 and 300 times this year, and not maybe 3 times out of those 300 times would I say even step off of him or whatever, I mean, and say he's bowed up or, a stud would come into play. I mean, that was just phenomenal. He's been a lot of fun, and he's gotten better every day. Stage sound, and Tyler, I mean, he gets him ready, does a wonderful job there, and our families, like Tyler said, they just kind of meshed and clicked, and it's just been a wonderful journey, and I don't know, it's pretty unique.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it. It sounds like y'all's camp is just extraordinary. And, I mean, so I guess kind of talking about this, you kind of cover why you ride with Casey, but, I mean, is there anything else that you can tell us, that makes it just extra special?
I just, as far as our families go, I don't know how I could have gotten both of our families could have got so lucky to, I mean, God put us together. I guess I'm very blessed to be with them, and there was never been a point in showing this year where I didn't trust Casey, or I never was like, oh no, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Like, I've always trusted Casey, and I've always tried to sponge up everything I can from Casey, and like I said at the beginning of the year, I was struggling, but Casey never gave up on me, and he just said, you'll be fine, just keep showing, you'll get better, just keep showing. And I mean, obviously, he was right. He hasn't been wrong all year. So I don't have anything bad to say.
Yeah. Is there a specific moment that stands out to either one of you guys through the year?
I would say Jackson was probably the start of seeing something cool with Lewis. The very first weekend, Casey showed him, I think he had 2 firsts and a second, won like 1,800. And I kind of knew then with Casey, that was the first time Casey showed him ever. And they just gelled, I mean, right away. So that was a cool start of the year. And then Jackson, I was super proud of both of them and how they did there. And I was obviously proud of myself, too, there. So that was kind of the start of it. And I think in the summer, Colorado was a big trip for me especially. That was kind of a big growing moment because Casey was driving all over the dang country with Chaser and back to Fort Worth and back to Colorado and up to New Mexico, or where was he at, Wyoming? Yeah. And that in itself takes an amazing person to do that. But and then this whole World Finals, I couldn't have had more fun today. I mean, I just had a blast, just riding my horse and doing our thing. Yep. And getting to watch Casey the past 2 days, I think I got more nervous for Casey and Lewis than I did myself.
Oh gosh, that's awesome.
Because I at least have a little bit control when they're out there. I have no control. I just get to watch.
Yeah.
So
hope for the best.
Yeah. There's hope for the best.
Yeah.
But
what about you?
Probably along about the same time. I'm pretty easygoing, pretty laid back, and I never really. I don't do the spotlight very well. I mean, I just don't. But I knew about March that both of us had a real shot, and which I never told Tyler because you get to thinking too much about it, and I mean it builds up. I mean you just got to go show. I mean it's one day at a time, one weekend at a time, one run at a time. It's, you've got a goal in mind, but you just got to go show. But, about March, April, I guess, I knew that, was a pretty good shot we could win both of them. And, like I say, Tyler, he started off a little rough, but it was... I knew if he just stuck with it and he wanted to and he listened and just keep going each time, day to day, that it kind of turned out to be a fairy tale.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, it definitely did, and You guys, I mean, your story is one that make people, and it makes people want to do this. You know, it's it's a great story. Yeah, I know. Everybody needs to do this, right? Yeah. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to me.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
I appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yes, and I do want to thank my wife and son.
Yep.
They go through a lot to do what we do, and I appreciate them very much. Thank you.
If you're still rolling,
Yeah.
I want to thank my mom, Amy DeLange. She had an eye for Lewis, and I wasn't even with him when we got him, and she had an eye for him, and the support she and my dad, Mike DeLange, have given me, and like I said, my grandpa Rick Dubé, he's an amazing man, and just our whole team. It takes a team to do this, as you know, I'm sure, but it takes a whole team.
It takes a village.
A whole village, and not everybody sees the behind the scenes, and it's so, I can't stress enough how cool it is and how special it is to have a whole team behind you doing what we all love to do.